We've come a long way. Hey guys, I'm Shayla J. This is Chocolate Cake 101. Happy Lionsgate. So it's been a long time. I feel a little rusty, but we're going to get through this. I have been wanting to talk about this subject for a long time. I've had this video idea for months, and that's okay because I'm sitting on years of content. But I have a loved one in my life that every time I'm around them, they make me want to sit down and do this video immediately. I almost recorded this in his studio yesterday, so let's just get this done. I didn't leave anything. I get to be Shayla. Shayla is, I am me. I am me. I am me. But I started to join this spiritual community, and I was like, oh, hell no. For a few reasons, because I didn't want to be labeled by the things that I wore on my neck or how I wore my hair or what I ate. But also, one thing that I noticed, and this is what this video is about, is a lot of men who join the spiritual community, specifically Black men who are on their healing journey or their God journey, whatever, they use spirituality, whether they do this on purpose or not, they use spirituality to weaponize their negative traits rather than using it to self-reflect and be better. So this is like the conversation of a dignified king or an ill-dignified king. So taking my power and abusing it. And this can go into like things talking about narcissism or how men will use spirituality to back a patriarchal system, which is nothing wrong with men leading. But when it comes to putting women in their place or the nature boy situation where he used himself as God to say that he was allowed to have multiple wives and not feed them and tell them what to do when people are, getting sick and things like that. This happens a lot in the spiritual community. I think you know what I'm talking about if you have ever dabbled in it. And not even just that. This happens. We're talking about pastor. Pastor's doing some dirt and you know it. He takes his power and he uses it for ill-dignified reasons in ways that would harm other people. So this is the conversation that we're having today. I want to have it in a way from the point of view of the God, the warrior, the war god, the ancient being that is here in his masculine. And this is for anybody. You don't have to be a man for this conversation to be you, because this conversation really is I'm talking to me, I'm talking to you, I'm talking to all of us. Doesn't matter the color of your skin, the sex that you're doing, what you're going through life, where you live. This is for everyone. So my conversation is to help people to help people understand their limitations. Limitations are controlled by your mindset in the space of being God, because this whole God state, I am God thing is super big. It's super important. And it is the latest conversation. I talk a lot about free will and how free will is not free will in religion and free will in spirituality are taught to be different things. And so if you've seen any of my videos before, I talk a lot about free will is you having complete control over your reality, the people, places, and things in your reality. And they all play out based off of your self-concept about yourself and the self-concept that you believe about this world. So this whole world is like, hey, to talk about this world as a stage. The whole world's job is to keep you in a specific program based off of your beliefs about yourself. So if you're a woman living in this particular area, this particular age range, with this particular income and this particular skin color, these are the beliefs that you're going to have. These are the things you're going to see online. These are the things that you're going to do day to day. These are your activities. This is how you're going to live. If you're this, if you're a bird, if you're a cat, if you're a snake, this is what we did. This is how you are perceived, and this is how you will perceive yourself. And that doesn't have to be that. These are limitations that we put on ourselves. Now, going into this, I am one of them, and so are you. We talk about all day that I'm God, you're God, we're all God. Because God is everything. God has separated himself into infinite particles to experience himself. If you were sitting on a throne all day, you started shit, you finished it, you were Alpha and Omega, what would you do? I'm not saying that you're going to be bored because there's no such thing as time, but what would you do? I would break myself into particles and play around with myself too and see how many times I can forget and remember. And this is all a beautiful game. So infinite particles, right? I am one of them, and so are you. I am one of them, and so are you. So let's just, okay, you get it. You get what I'm saying. So there are a lot of people in this world, and I'm going to use the example first of these beautiful gentlemen who perceive themselves as ancient beings, so they have to live life a certain way, or as God or war gods, and so they have to perceive their life a certain way. And a lot of them are a certain demographic. We're going to say Black men in this case. And they believe that things are going to be hard on them with women and children and money and society and violence and survival mode and all this shit. But this is the game. This is the program. How am I going to say this? I'm using this as an example, but this is everybody, no matter what your situation is. The things that you struggle with, you only struggle with them because you see them as a struggle. So you are living in that, on that timeline. You are living, I'm God, you're God. What is it? The control system is not controlling you. You are the control system. And as long as you think whatever you think, that is what it will be. Your wish is my command. I've said this 10,000 times. There's no such thing as no. It's yes. But the universe doesn't give you what you want. The universe gives you what you are. So if you are continuing to talk about having to struggle, having to fight, that's what you're going to do. So specifically with these people who see themselves as ancient beings or see themselves as God, you can't be. There is no fucking way you see yourself as God and yet you still see the struggle in the same. That's an oxymoron. Okay? So cut it out. So knock it off. Quit it. Either you're not God or you don't know what God is. And it's really, you don't know. The answer is you don't know what God is because you are God. But let's examine this. So I have notes because I'm so rusty. The definition of God, or the definition of an ancient being. That's what I wanted to talk to you guys about. Because a lot of you guys talk about God, but then you give king traits to a God. So there's no such thing as a war god. I'm not saying that you did not fight when you were outside of this human construct. I'm saying that that's not godlike. God is all everything, unconditional, Alpha and Omega, never started, never stopped. He's not at the top. He's everything. God is love. So I'll if I remember, I'll put up the emotional chart. So in the Bible, when Jehovah said, I'm a jealous God, either he's not the highest of the high, hey, we're just having this conversation. And Jehovah and I have had this conversation 10,000 times, so don't even worry about me. Either he's not the God that he says he is, or someone put those words in his mouth, because those two things cannot be true. Jealousy, again, putting up the emotional chart, jealousy is down here. Unconditional God, euphoria, Almighty is at the top. Jealousy lives more in like the lower chakras, the root, the sacral, the solar plexus. Once you get past the heart chakra and you go to the throat, the third eye, and the crown and above, that's God. That's God frequency. That's God complex. You cannot be jealous because everything is you. There is no competition with a God. There's no competition. God does not have an adversary. I've said this 10,000 times. And the best example of that is you guys let Lucifer be the adversary. Lucifer literally is God who just failed to see the dark side. And all that ever, a star cannot shine if it's not dark. You see the stars, but it doesn't, you can't see the stars in the daytime, baby. A star can't shine if it's not dark. The moon glows at night. The people who glow the most, who have the most light, they've been to the dark side. That's why, guys, that's why I study the occult. That's why I study these things that you call evil, because in studying them, you realize they're not what you think they are. True evil is not what half these people, Candace Owens, love you, but you're wrong. It's not what they're talking about. This whole Moloch ball shit. I don't know. You guys don't even understand what you're talking about, because true evil is not a noun. It's a verb. Everything that has good in it does bad in it. That's why you see corporations, they do good things, they do bad things, because it's balance. And I told you this, I've said this so many times. Evil is subjective. What's evil to you benefited somebody else, was the best thing in the world, was a hero to someone else. So again, looking at evil, it's not a noun, it's not someone, it's actions. It's in actions and it's emotions. That's for another video. So going back to God, as a person, when you are hating the system, the courts, having money problems, hating women, hating men, being mad about somebody who did this to you, carrying bitter, being bitter and resentment. And I'm not just talking to y'all, I'm talking to myself too. These are traits that I'm able to tell you because I had to learn and go through them. And you continue to go through them. You continue to work through it, because everything's happening now. So in this moment, you work through it. These emotions are you saying that you have forgotten who you are, because God does not struggle like that. God doesn't perceive it as a struggle. He always sees the good out of everything, and he claims what he wants instead of focusing on the past of what he didn't want. And this goes back to people saying, this has always happened to me. This is always, somebody did me wrong when I was little. And then you carry that program. So it is a forever conversation that we will continue to have about who controls how your field is controlled in the first 7 years of your life, right? And I think that has a lot to do with you making decisions before you came into this body, and the agreements that you had with the people that you were going to come into this world around, your mom, dad, your siblings, the people that were going to take care of you those first 7 years. So there's a lot going on with that. But someone wronged you, and y'all, I hate hearing stories about children getting hurt, especially by the adults that they protected, that they trusted. But a lot of us have these stories of being wronged by an adult, or wronged by somebody, or my mother didn't love me, or my father didn't love me, or all these stories. So you grow up, they hurt me, they hurt me, they hurt me, they hurt me. Then you carry that story past 7, past 8. Now you're literally carrying that story. It's the story of victim mentality, because Black people, sit down, white person. I'm so sick and tired of it. White people cannot tell this story. Black people need to heal themselves, and they don't need to heal from anybody but themselves. This is a conversation for Black people. So if you want to be in the room, be in the room. I'm not mad. But what I'm saying right now, this is for Black people, the Black melanated people. I don't even like the term Black, because clearly I'm brown. But when a white person says it just sounds insulting, because you don't even know half of what you're talking about. Not that I don't love you, but this is insulting. But I'm going to say it because I can. Black people carry the strongest victim mentality that came from the people who want to keep them oppressed. You have no memory of being a slave. However, when you came into this world, from the time you were little, you were programmed in school, on TV, with your parents, with everything around you, that the people who look like you were oppressed. You were victimized. You were wronged. So you carry that story. I was wronged. I was wronged. This is because I'm Black. This is because I'm Black. It's because I'm Black. It's because I'm Black. And that's done purposefully so, by the way, because if you carry the story of I'm at the bottom, you carry the story of I'm at the bottom, and now you will continue to, your universe, because the control system is you, will continue letting things happen to show you that you're at the bottom. If you think all men ain't shit, then every man that comes into your life has to recreate that story for you. If you think that you're not worthy of love, that story has to continue to be created for you, because you're the God. It's your story. If you think you're a war god and that you came here to fight, then get ready, baby, because you can be fighting your whole life. That is weaponized victim mentality. That's weaponized incompetence. That is weaponizing incompetence. Because there's no fucking way that a God has to fight. A God is a God. A God is not a king. A God sees everything as him anyway. That is why you salute the divinity in you. Now, this is the story of everyone talks about love conquering all and killing them with kindness. I'm not talking about being nice and killing people with kindness. I'm talking because a God will fight when he needs to. He doesn't need to. But if he perceives himself as needing to, he will fight. There's nothing evil about slapping somebody in the face when you have to. But you only have to because you perceive it in your mind. So if you have a problem with a system, the courts, money, love, somebody did you dirty, you have to change that story in your head. You have to forgive yourself. This is where Ho'oponopono comes in. You have to forgive yourself for seeing yourself as the victim in the first place, for allowing that to happen. And then you have to neutralize the situation in your head. There's 10,000 ways to do it, but I love Ho'oponopono because Ho'oponopono to me is a come as you are. You can be pissed off because all you're doing is neutralizing a situation in your head. So I was talking about what God is. Unconditional love, Alpha and Omega. Nobody's better than me because everything is me. I salute the divinity and everything. They were talking about the monks. They were talking about the monks who would handle and care for the lions, and they never had any protection. But it was, and I've talked about this story so many times, but it was because they saluted the divinity in the monk, in the lion, meaning that they did not see the lion as prey or as a predator or prey. They saw the lion as the God, the same God that was in them. And by doing so, the lion did not see the monk, the man, as prey. They saw it as brother. And so they're able to work along and walk along with the monk peacefully. And that is what they say, what they're talking about when they say pray for your enemies. This whole religious pray for your enemies, they don't even know why, for what? Why would you do that? But spiritually, when we say pray for your enemies, it's because when you do, if you wish peace among someone and they have peace within them, then that's neutralizing the situation. Somebody who is at peace is not going to be at war with you. You just neutralize the situation. That's what praying for your enemies is. So it doesn't mean that you want something bad to happen to them. It means that you're wishing that they have the peace so that you can have peace within you two as a whole. Sorry, people. I'm popular. So I don't even know where I was. So, like I was saying, a God doesn't have adversaries. A God does not have adversaries. A God is not at war. I know they talk about war gods, but you guys have to understand, if you believe that you came to this earth as once an ancient being, or you had to fight in the heavens, or you're supposed to be destroying shit. I know there's so many movies with Marvel and all these books that talk about it. I'm not saying that that wasn't your past. But a lot of you guys have to understand, maybe you came to Earth to realize that you don't have to fight. Because if you think you have to fight, you have to fight. And you don't understand because you're a girl, you're a female, that's not your course. It's not your course either. Why would you argue for your limitations? Y'all love arguing for your limitations. Again, weaponizing incompetence. Arguing for your limitations. Using things that didn't have to be and making them who you are. You are now identifying as, people used to call my son a warrior because he fought the NICU and won. My son's not a warrior. My son does not have to fight. My son will know that he came here to overcome that image of feeling like he has to fight. Because every time you have to fight, your reality, your creation is going to show you, and you're going to be fighting shit. You're going to be fighting bill collectors. You're going to be fighting baby mamas. You're going to be fighting the system. You're going to be fighting money. You're going to be fighting life. And that is exactly what Black people, quote unquote, on the Western, in our Western culture, in this first world, that has been the identity given to them, that they are the underdogs and they have to spend their life fighting. So when people say, why do they think about race? First of all, that's why I told y'all to sit the fuck down, because people not like you, but people who look like you made it about race in the first place. This is why I say y'all can't have this conversation, because you don't even know. But it's true. The reason why it's about race is because the oppressors made it about race to program you so that you would continue on the program. It's literally like somebody who's manipulating you. Maybe what is it called? Your mother's your first bully. It's for some of y'all. All she has to do is put the thought in your head, and you're going to carry that for the rest of your life. You're fat. Your eyebrows are this. Your hair is ugly. And we will carry that for the rest of our lives, because that's the identity you're identifying with. And then you don't have to identify as a warrior. Why would you want to identify as someone who wants to struggle? Why are you competing to have Black people love to talk about, again, I don't believe this is really us, but those arguments online of who has it harder, Black people, Black men or Black women. Why are we arguing to be at the bottom? Why are you arguing to be the sole struggler? Why would you want to struggle the most? I've had that conversation this weekend a lot, and I kept saying, you got it. You could be, yep, your life is harder. Yep. Because why would I want that? Why would you want that? How dignified are you? Does it make you feel validated in your struggle? Validate yourself and then be the God that you say you are and change that. I hope y'all are getting through, because I don't need to be talking. It's partially my fault because I don't do content like I'm supposed to. But I'm so done trying to convince you that you're God. We're supposed to be talking about what that means. Now that we found love, what are we gonna do? Now that we found God, what are we gonna do with it? What does that mean? What does that mean? Can we float? Can I astral project? There are rooms that talk about changing the past, but you're not even in that room yet because you don't even believe that you can. You think that's crazy. Can we please hurry up and get past the I am God so we can talk about how we can control our reality, because we're God. You don't get to be God and struggle. I don't get to be God and struggle. Have you not noticed most of the people who are spiritual fight the hardest in life? Because they're fighting themselves. They think they're fighting the world, but they're really just fighting themselves, because the control system is not controlling you. You are the control system. That's a good message. I love that. Did I get to what I wanted to say? So now, God state. How do I start controlling my reality? How do I get out of this warrior mentality, this ancient being? Because you can be an ancient being. My ancestors in a past life, I was Queen Cleopatra. I was Queen Candace. I was ruling shit. I was an ancient Nubian goddess. Sure. But does that mean you have to eat like one? Does that mean you have to follow the rules of one? You can. But why would you limit yourself? Because that's not the world you live in now. And a God gets to be whatever he wants to be, whenever he wants to be it, wherever he wants to be it. And I am still in the programming of this will hurt me, or I can't do this, or if a bullet hits my chest, it's going to kill me. But it's going to unalive me. I'm fixing it. But you are the one that has to start by changing your mentality of I can be, do, or have anything. And you start by seeing where your beliefs create your reality. This is a game. Life is a game within a game. And some of y'all, like Hollywood, is a game within a game within a game. But this is a game. So play it like a game. Be easier about it. Start seeing where your beliefs created your situation. A lot of you guys need to stop smoking weed. A lot of you guys need to stop scrolling short content. If you want to watch long content, fine, but that's short content. Scientifically, there's a reason why short form content got so popular so fast. It is a control system. You have to gain back control of your life. When I say, what are we going to do now that we're God? You know that that's where you are when you start getting control back over your life. This is when you start spending time with yourself. A lot of you guys can't meditate because you won't meditate. There's no such thing as not being able to control your mind. You just haven't sat down long enough to do it. I noticed that I was making myself busy with everything else so that I wasn't creating content. I would clean. I would go help other people. I'm visiting people in the hospital who have just had open heart surgery. going to take care of this man called me and yelled at me to come see him 3 hours away. He didn't really need me. When I got there, he needed me to make up a bed. I made up a bed. That's what I did. Yeah, I'm telling on you. I made up a bed. I said, you don't need me. Everything he wanted me to do, he did himself. He just wanted emotional support. And I drove 3 hours away and messed up my schedule on purpose. And I could have brought my shit to him, but we co-created in that illusion to make up a bed. I had to help him make up a bed. And I'll do it again. But again, I noticed I was doing things to avoid doing what I needed to do for myself. Sit down, meditate, create your schedule, find out who you are by being still. Be still and know that I am God. There's a reason why being still and being silent is so divine and so golden, because that's when you start talking to yourself. It's cute that we talk to you, but you need to talk to yourself. You need to sit with yourself. They talk about kids need to be bored because it helps them, one, know who they are, but also spark and keep their creativity. Get off the TV. Get off the games. I don't mean forever, and I don't mean always. I mean, spend some time with yourself. Then start to realize the things that you like to do. I want to garden. I want to learn karate. I want to go camping. I want to be outside with nature. I want to do yoga. I want to learn an instrument. And then discipline your schedule. Once you center yourself and you decenter men, you decenter money, you decenter every food. And decentering men, money, food, and all this shit doesn't mean you don't care about it, doesn't mean you don't love it, doesn't mean you don't have it, you're not throwing it away. You're just not making it your focal point. Your end all be all in a man. You're not like, oh, trust me, I'm the boy crazy one. At least I was in high school when I got kicked off of varsity softball because Shayla, every time we go to an away game, you're too busy worried about the boys that are going to be there and the boys on the baseball team. I sure was. But, okay, I learned. You decenter yourself. That's not the focus. I am the focus. Not because you're selfish, but because you're selfish. Yes, you need to be within yourself. You need to focus on yourself, because if you can't feed yourself, you're not your best self for everybody outside of you. This is not something that you're going to do in a day. It's something that you're going to do day after day until it is your norm. Money is a beautiful thing to focus on, but if all you're focused on is money, you're missing what you came here to do, because that's a game in itself. Money does not exist outside of this realm. Currency does, but you are the greatest currency. Seriously, you're the greatest currency. They want you. That's why they make you want everything else, so that they can take your essence while you're worried about sex and money and all this other stuff. Sex is a beautiful thing. I'm not dissing sex. I'm just saying we have to be dignified in our actions. It's not what you do, it's how you do it. I'm not even going to go into this feminine, masculine thing today because I'm ready to be off of this. But I have a whole masculine feminine series. We're not going to talk about that today. I was talking about being a god, and being a war god means also being able to embody your calm, because outside of this realm, it's not penis, vagina. It's give, take. It's the currency. It's the circle of life. You have to be able to be fed to be able to grow. So if you think that you're this leader and you can't learn, you can't sit, the greatest leaders know how to learn. They know how to follow. You can't be a leader if you're not open to learning, if you're not open to taking, if you're not open to receiving, is what I should say. Receive knowledge, receive love, receive abundance. A lot of people have a hard time receiving. You have to be a good receiver. I also talked about being rah-rah, because a lot of us think we have to do and be this machine and be rah-rah. But these monks, we were talking about the monks, they're the calmest. They understand that they know how to fight. You're supposed to, because it's the discipline. But the biggest warrior, look at Mr. Miyagi. What did Mr. Miyagi do? He avoided fighting at all cost. He said you only fight. He said you only fight when you have to. You only fight when it is necessary. And that wasn't just that. Look at ninjas. Ninjas can float around because they have mastered peace. They have mastered being light as a feather and being calm and mastering their body. Monks know how to fight, but they would rather garden. They would rather tend to the animals. They'd rather give back because they are at peace. The greatest fighters aren't rah rah. My daddy, big black man, the deep voice. Everyone was afraid of him, but he was he was soft because he didn't have to be hard. So all this war god, y'all ain't got to do all that, man. I'm not saying that is not you, be you. But what I am saying is you don't have to fight. You don't have to be rah-rah to get your point across. You do not have to do that because you already embody that. That's what God does. Your power is in your presence. Your power is in your vibe. And that is why you work on yourself with yourself. I get the greatest compliments and the greatest love, and everyone talks about my light and my healing energy. My friend said I have sensual energy, but that's because I work within myself, and I tell myself all the time that I am light and everyone around me benefits from it. You have to work within yourself. That is God's state. You do that always, every day. When I don't do it, I can tell. When I do it, I can tell. You are lucky and you bring light to you. You bring ease to you. Ease is a state of mind. And I know you guys want to struggle, but you deserve for things to be easy for you. And you can change things that happened and things that will happen as long as you don't sit there and still be mad about it and carry those resentments, because a God can change realities just like that. Change timelines just like that. Things that you thought weren't were. Being stuck in an energy, thinking that success is right around the corner, success is always going to be right around the corner. It's always tomorrow, because tomorrow never comes. Tomorrow. One day I'll be successful. One day I'll do this. One day I'll do that. No, your point of power is in your presence. I am now. Embody this now. I am. God said I am, because that's who you are. I am, and you are whatever you say you are, and you are in that moment. So be that and embody that. That is what God is. Am I done with this? So I have a lot of things coming up. I'm going to be talking more about embodying. This has been a thing I've been working on. Announcements. Chocolate Cake 101 was originally about spirituality and restoring the culture through spirituality. But it has started to lean more about programming and politics and how the system works. And I'm going to keep it that way. But I have my other channel, Midnight Muse, which I used to do play with tarot on there. And I love tarot. I don't know. I love it. But Midnight Muse is going to be used more for embodying the God state, which means growing in who I am with yoga, with lots of ho'oponopono, with what's going on in our world right now, neutralizing situations, because we have that power within us. It doesn't matter what's going on in the world. We can neutralize it, and we don't have to fight. That's what I'm trying to tell you. We don't have to fight. You fight in your head spiritually. You send the energy out in the ether, and then you have faith in the now instead of worrying and complaining. That's what I've been trying to say this whole time. We want things, but then we worry and complain about what it is. So it has to say what it is, because you're worrying and you're complaining. And that's what Midnight Muse is going to be about. The actual process of changing one's state through discipline, physically, emotionally, and mentally. I'm glad I'm back, baby. I got a lot going on with Coco's back, y'all. Coco's back. So a lot is coming up. I might want to announce it until I'm actually doing it, until we're producing the stuff. But we've been working on it, and it's beautiful. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys understand what I'm saying. You can always talk about it in the comments. We're going to talk about this more, because this is all I do is talk about. If you want to know more about the God state, because you can use your mind to change everything about you. There's nothing that I'm not talking about. I don't care if it's your health. I don't care if you're on your deathbed. I'm working with some people that are literally fighting for their body back. You can do this. You just have to change. If you want to be somebody else, if you're tired of fighting battles with yourself, if you want to be somebody else, change your mind. Seriously, change your mind. It's a double entendre. But yeah, change your mind. I'm Sheila Jade. This is Chocolate Cake 101. I hope you like this video, because I think I'm going to get in trouble over it. See, that's a mindset. He's going to love it. Everybody's going to love this video. They're going to be like, Shayla, that's what you were trying to do this whole time. You're right. I can be amazing with my own rules. I don't have to have the rules of the past. I don't have to be stuck in this mind frame. I don't think that I have to fight for my life. I don't have to think that. I can just make it could be easy. It could all be so simple.